Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Do you want to promote your business on Zambia Blog Talk Radio? Yes, that's right. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio. To book your spot, just make a donation by picking from the following categories. To get started, just call or WhatsApp the number on the screen and you'll be good to go. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio every Saturday for 1 full month. And it will stay on the recorded shows.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. This is one of those most anticipated broadcasts. We do appreciate you joining us today. It is March the 19th. Welcome to Zambia Blog Talk Radio. Please follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook name is Zambia Blog Talk Radio, and you can find us there. We are also on YouTube, ZBTR TV. And we do appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. All right, let me bring in my co-host, Mr. Kasuluva Mashonga. Good afternoon from Lusaka, Kasuluva. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Good morning, Uncle Nathan. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Are you ready for this discussion today?
I'm so much eager. Very much looking forward to what's in store.
All right, most anticipated.
Yeah.
Please, we want to encourage you to tag a friend and tell everybody that Zambia Blog Talk Radio is on. We are talking multicultural relationships or marriage, whichever terminology you want to. Let's say multicultural marriage. Otherwise, if we use other words, it might be taken differently. So tag a friend, let them know that the show is on and we are ready and good to go. Let's introduce our guest this morning. We are privileged and honored to have evangelist, our mom, Margaret Chapoloko. She is the founder of Hope Ministries Life International, which caters and does a lot of work in Zambia. She's also a marriage counselor. Good morning, ma'am. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. This is one of those most anticipated shows, and people are eager and willing to learn. So probably what we need to do is just get on with it and begin the topic that we have for today. We are talking about multicultural marriages. So probably our first question, ma'am, would be, what constitutes a multicultural marriage? What is a multicultural marriage? What are we talking about here?
Here we are talking about people coming from different countries and different cultures getting involved in marriage relationship. And there is also what we call cross-culture marriages, which can be from the same country. For example, like Zambia has got almost 74 languages, and each tribe, they've got their own culture that they do. But when we come into multicultural, we are saying that people can come from different countries, from different backgrounds, from different ethnic, and come together and get married.
Okay, that's interesting. Hope that explains it to those of you that were asking that question, and I thought that it was important that we clear that out of the way. So what should be the first steps anybody who is about to get into a multicultural or cross-cultural relationship? What should they do? What should they understand?
What they should understand is that somebody is coming from the country and their culture. They are getting into marrying into another culture. what they should understand is, first and foremost, is communication is very, very important.
Wow.
You need to communicate, because nobody will know what you do or what they do. There has to be communication. You must have a willing heart to learn and to also teach. And the recipient should also have the time to learn also from your culture. So it's the two different cultures coming together and doing a marriage whereby this side, they have their own culture, you have your own culture. Therefore, don't just go into it without first and foremost taking time to learn about your the other culture, and them also learn your culture, so that you can come and make the marriage for those couples work. The thing is that you need to be willing to learn. You cannot impose your own culture on some other people. They've also theirs. So you need to learn their culture, take time to learn, and also they should take time to learn your culture.
That's interesting, Kasuluba. So that process, ma'am, it sounds like, because these days, you know, people just get into relationships, a year, 6 months, they want to be getting married. The issues of timeline here will probably come into play. Who should be doing the communicating? The couple, the marriage counselor? Who should be doing the communication?
First and foremost, let me go a little bit back. When a child is growing up, a girl or a boy, have it in your mind that one day that child will be that girl will be somebody's husband, and that girl will be somebody's wife, and your son will be somebody's husband.
Yes.
Therefore, as the children are growing up, it's upon us as parents to nurture them. You need to nurture them. There are certain things that they need to know. And it's like the child will not just grow up like a tree. Even a tree, if you want it to grow in a certain way, you prune it, you direct it. In the similar way, the children should grow up in that way. You don't just come to start when they are up, they want to be in the relationship, and then you start teaching them things. There are certain things that take place as they are growing. When they become teenagers, there are certain things that they're supposed to know. And there are certain things that they are supposed to learn. And the children are very observant. They observe a lot. So a parent, a father and mother, you should be the role models of your children. The way the father treats the mother, the way the mother treats the husband. Most children would say, when I grow up, I would want to marry somebody like my mother. When I grow up, I want to get married to somebody like my dad. What do they mean? It's the values that they have gotten from you as they've been growing up. And therefore, when it comes to the relationships, there are steps that needs to be taken, whether from the same culture or multiple culture. There are steps that are taken. So you communicate also. There are certain things that needs to be done prior. There are certain things that needs to be done prior to their marriage. And even when they get into the relationship, what is expected of them at that particular time when they want to start dating, for example? What is expected of that? You will have already instilled those things into your child or into your children, so that when that time comes, they will know what to do.
Excellent. So basically, the process is related and connected to how this young lady, this young man has been nurtured, has been modeled, what has been modeled to them in the family, and the transition will basically be based on the things that they have seen and observed from their parents. Is that right?
That's right.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so one of the things, ma'am, is that those of us, especially living in the diaspora, we are away from home, okay? And here we are. Our kids are growing up in this environment, in this culture, okay, away from home, so to speak. So to what extent should parents living away from their home or native countries adopt the culture and the norms of the country in which they are? Let's take, for example, in these United States. So to what extent should we as parents adopt some of the norms? Because our kids are not growing up in Zambia, they're growing up here. And they are seeing the way things are done. To what extent should we adopt some of the norms that are going on here?
Yes, as I said, communication is very important.
Uh-huh.
Wherever we go, let us learn about the culture of that place. For instance, here in America, I'll give you an example. Like when the children are getting married,
yes,
you find out that the woman sponsors the wedding. Okay. And they'll give you a few cards because it's them controlling the whole issue, right?
Yes.
For people to invite. And so it's important for the parents to sit with the parents of their Wapongosh to be, to sort of discuss these issues, bring them to the table, hear them what they do, and also tell them what they do. For instance, if where I come from, the marriage is entirely on the man. Okay, the man sponsors the marriage.
Yes.
Okay, and so I will tell them to say, for us to feel we are, my son is marrying, we need to contribute. This is what we do. There are steps that we do. For instance, we don't. We would ask him to. What we do is this: we need a go-between, a go-between that we will talk to, so that they can, carry our message across, and they will bring the other message from across. They will bring it to us. So that person, for instance, is not Zambian, is American or Italian or whatever. That person needs to come to you as parents. You explain exactly what happens, what transpires when people are getting married, which is the starting point, what is the next point, and so on and so forth. For instance, if my son is getting married, I'll come and say, where I come from, the man marries. Therefore, can I meet you halfway? Can we come and meet you halfway? Instead of you spending or doing all the expenses, my son needs to come and, he has to feel married, in other words. We have to come halfway. How do we do that? Can I demonstrate how we start?
Yes, please.
We get that person, whether black, white, and yellow. We sit them down and give them instructions of what needs to be done. So I will start from when you're approaching the parents of the girl. What are the first things that we do? Our culture, my culture, would have a plate like what I've done. Are you able to see this?
Yes.
This, I'll put some money in here.
Okay.
And tie it up like this.
Okay.
The go-between will take this, even without him saying anything. When you see somebody coming with this parcel, because you have already explained to them what to do. If it was my culture, they know everything. They know what is expected. But you have explained to the go-between what is supposed to be done. So this is the plate. Tie it up. We have put some money to go and ask for the hand in marriage to the woman's side. Now, when they come, they will put that. They will come in. They will put that plate on the floor, and then they will sit. They will sit on the floor, not on the chair. That man, the go-between, will sit on the floor and fold their legs like this as a sign of respect. Okay. And then there where they have come, we have got your father, mother, uncle, grandmother, expecting few people, expecting that parcel because that parcel was coming. And when they come in, they will say, they will put it there, and the parents or the grandmother will call the girl who's getting married to say, we have received a parcel. Do you know where it has come from? She will say yes. And then they say, thank you. Do you agree that this parcel can come here? The girl says yes, and they send the girl away. So now, where they have remained, either if it's just the father and the mother or whoever is there, they will take that plate and go to the bedroom, to another place, or in the house. They will go and untie that plate. They will take out what is there, and they will fold the cloth like this and put it inside. Okay? Okay, open inside. They have removed what was in there and brought it. This means that they have agreed. Okay? If it comes back the way it went, like this, tied, they have said no. But if it comes back like this, it's an answer.
Okay.
They have said yes. They'll give that back to the Bashibukombe. Now, because of time, they would want the Bashibukombe, the go-between would want to go outside to say, I will be coming back, because they want immediately to ask for the dowry, whatever is supposed to be paid. So they'll come back in with money again in there to come and ask to say, now that they have agreed, we know we would have come back, but we want to kill two birds with one stone. So they will come and ask, how much is the bridal price going to be? And then they will tell him. So he will take that amount, that weight, back to the family. And they'll go and discuss. If it's too much, he will come back and say, I heard what you told me, but this is too much. So he will negotiate on behalf of the family.
Okay.
The amount. And then until you agree, then you tell them, I'm not going below 20,000. If you charge the $50,000, you're saying I'm not going below 20,000, depending on where you come from. And then they start paying that. And then there's a stage, another stage now, whereby now you know that our child is getting married. These things, the process has started. What you do is you tell them that in my family, this is what we do. We need, when our son comes to visit us, to eat something. At the moment, he cannot eat anything from my house because we haven't opened his mouth. We haven't allowed him. So you cook every kind of food that you eat and take to the man's family. So
and that is what you call
Chilanga Mudilo. It's an introduction to the groom to now start, whenever they come, we can have a snack in the house, they can eat food in the house. Because without doing that function, you will not eat or even drink water in your home as the in-law to be. So you have to demonstrate to them, to tell him that now you are free. If you come here to visit, we'll give you food. And this is the kind of food that we eat. If we give you this type of food, we are not belittling you. That's all that we have at that particular day. If I cook relish without salt, which means I don't have salt at that particular day. So you should know that my mother-in-law has no salt. You will leave some money for me to go and buy salt. Okay?
Now, Mom, Kasuruba, first before Kasuruba, before you come in, you've said a lot of things here. This is what is going through my mind. Okay? This is what is going through my mind. By the way, everybody watching, listening, and I forgot to say one thing. I had a very good conversation with a friend, and they were asking me if you're in a multicultural marriage. I said, no, she's not, but she's got 4 children who are all in multicultural marriages.
Exactly.
That's the reason Mom Chapoloko is here. Everybody, of course, apart from her being a marriage counselor with her and Uncle Ron, who's going to be with the Lord for many years, many many years. These are the people who were putting us in line at Northmid when we were young. So I just wanted to mention that 4 kids, all of them in multicultural relationships. So, Mom, here's the thing before Kasulwa comes in. Zach Twagira Yesu, okay, or Tre, Prophetess Mwaka's boys. They get into a multicultural relationship, okay? Clotilda has got a son. He's growing up. How are these kids supposed to go about how to do these things? Because they are living here and they are seeing their friends just kneel and tell their girlfriend or fiancé and say, will you marry me? What should these kids who are growing up here do or understand how it's supposed to work?
The responsibility is on their parents. For instance, the Twagira Yesu themselves, they are it's a multi-culture as well, right? So it's up to the mother. I'm sure she has taken time to learn the culture of the husband. And also the husband has taken upon himself to also learn the culture of the wife, okay? Now they've got these children who are born here. They've never been to, I don't know whether it's Uganda or Zambia. Maybe they've been there to visit.
Yes.
But they haven't seen what goes on. So now it's up to the parents to teach them, to direct them, to say, this is what happens. All they know is to just kneel and ask somebody, if they can marry them. That's all that they know. But that's where now we take time as parents to direct them.
Yes.
Because they don't know. Just like I was saying, when children are growing up, there are certain things that we teach them. We don't teach them everything. We don't even teach them things concerning marriage until the time comes. Yes. Even these that are growing up here, we should make sure that there are certain things that they know about where we have come from. These are values that they will take in. They will say, yes, I'm in America. I've been born in America, but I've got a heritage. I've got where I come from. And this is what they do. So it's up to us to teach them as parents, to direct them. It's a lot of work, but it can be done. It can be done.
Okay. All right. Mr. K.
Interesting. Wonderful. I like the points that you raised earlier as regards, let's say, as a Zambian, I'll speak from a Zambian perspective. As a Zambian, maybe I get to get into a culture where I'm not required to, let's say, pay, but then I want to feel a part of the whole thing. So I would want to say, let's meet halfway, right?
Yes.
Yes. But then now, try to make us understand. There's this notion to say there are certain races, or is it cultures, where one, it is the lady that will propose and pay, I don't know if it's dowry or bride price. That's one point. Then two, then there's the other whereby as a man, in that culture, you don't have to pay anything. So it's just, okay, you go, you're in love, and okay, fine. It's just the wedding you're paid. So then now, I have heard so many Zambians that would say, I mean, it's expensive. You're charged 50,000 kwacha whatsoever. I'd rather marry from a culture where I don't have to pay anything. So in that regard, what are some of the things that, let's say, Zambians will still need to look out for that are very cardinal, in as much as you will not pay or contribute anything, but there are certain things that you did not know in that other culture? I don't know if that question is clear.
Yes, there are certain things that you did not know, or you want to marry a woman who does everything, and so on and so forth. I'll be the best example as a mother. My son is married here and to an Italian family. Okay?
Yes.
They wanted to do everything because the woman does everything, the woman's side. They wanted to do everything. I put my foot down. I said, no. I want this son of mine to know that he comes from somewhere. And what is done is this. What you do is, there should be a lot of communication.
Yes. Yes.
So I went and sat with the family to say where we come from, where we appreciate that you can do all these things. But where I come from also, I want my son to have some culture, to be part. He's a Zambian at the end of the day. I want him to know what is done in Zambia, because one day he will find himself in Zambia, because the world has become very small. He want to live in Zambia. And in Zambia, they would ask him to be maybe a shibukombe, or they'll ask him a go-between, or they'll ask him to do these things. He will be lost. Okay. Let me give you an example. My first cousin, girl, married from Germany, the guy from Germany, okay?
Yes.
And we went on to say, oh, he's white, we don't have to go through all this and this. We did whatever we could do, and they left. Yes. 2 years later, he came back. This white man came back and said, there's something that you did not do for me that I've learned from family. Remember, people talk. They discuss things. There's something that I've learned that you didn't do. You know what, Kasuba? We had to start afresh. We had to ask him to bring in Salamo, to do Chilagamulo, to do after 2 years. We had to do everything. We had to do everything. You know, he went on to do, he even asked for the tradition that we don't know where he got it from, but it's there. Deep tradition. We had to do that. We had to do that for him. Then he was satisfied. So to avoid that, this is why, for me, I told my we go, my in-laws, I said, there are certain things that I want my boy to know, because one day he will go to Zambia. And when they invite him to do something concerning marriage, he'll be lost. So I want him to know. So here in America, I did everything from Unsalamo, Chirangamulilo, everything was done. The Ngomas, the showmakers from Zambia, everything, all the food that we eat from Zambia was, my friends sent it here. So we did everything. And guess what? Most of the people here, they were so amazed and so impressed, and they came. Some of the Americans, Black Americans, were crying to say, I said, why are you crying? He said, this is the tradition that we don't know. You have got such rich culture, you know? So just for the sake of that, we need our children to know both sides, because we have a saying in Bemba which says, "Umutembo fini na consequence." You have to balance, you know? Even we teach them to say, when your father-in-law and mother-in-law, they don't have anything, you support them. You don't just support your own mother, you support them as well. So we teach that we have got such rich culture that we want them also to know. My daughter-in-law knows a lot. She can, right now, she can even teach somebody about marriage. You know, she was so interested to learn. She was so eager to learn, and I'm very proud of her. I can take her to Zambia anytime. She will fit in just like that. She even eats in Shima. You see what I mean? So it's important to know both sides. While I cannot forsake my culture, I'm not asking them to forsake their culture. So we need to come halfway. And I told them, I said, we are going to pay something, because that's what we do back home. And we paid. You know, we came halfway. We met halfway.
What did you pay? How was the payment? In what form was it?
We paid in dollar.
Okay. Actually, I wanted to ask Uncle Nathan to say, so then that's first of all, it's very enlightening actually what you've brought up. So then now, what was the criteria as to them knowing to say, okay, we're going to pay so much? How did you come up with that amount?
First and foremost, we found out how much was the total for the whole wedding. Okay. And we said we are coming halfway, even more. because
Oh, wow.
because I had a man. The man where I come from cut us for the whole wedding. But we didn't want to feel them, slighted or whatever. So we agreed to come halfway.
Okay.
And they were very happy.
Wow. Okay.
Excellent. All right, everybody, we're talking to Mam Chapoloko here. We're discussing multicultural or cross-cultural marriages. Let's take a break. We'll come back and take your questions. Some people have posted. If you have a question or comment, please post it on our Facebook page, Zambia Blog Talk Radio, or whichever page you're watching from, and we shall have it addressed over here.
Do you want to promote your business on Zambia Blog Talk Radio? Yes, that's right. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio. To book your spot, just make a donation by picking from the following categories. To get started, just call or WhatsApp the number on the screen and you'll be good to go. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio every Saturday for 1 full month. And it will stay on the recorded shows.
All right, welcome back. Here's, since we were talking about how much Ronald Jr. paid and the negotiation, let's go back to Uncle Gregory joining us from the UK here. He said, hello, should the bride price be open to debate? What is the significance of bride price and dowry? Ma'am?
Oh, yes.
The question from Uncle Gregory here, I don't know that you can read it there. Should the bride price be open to debate? What is the significance of bride price and dowry?
Normally, there are different cultures, right? There are some that demand a lot more. Where I come from, we don't demand a lot more dowry. But if you went to the eastern part of my country or southern, they will even demand cows or convert the number of cows into money. It's a lot. The significance behind this is that I have raised a daughter. And I've raised the daughter very well. And there are certain things that I went through as a mother, from not only bringing that child here on earth, but there are certain children that go through things, sicknesses and what have you, sleepless nights and what have you, education and what have you, all that. Now, we don't want to give you my child for free. Okay? Why I mean for free is that there should be some, I would call it some sort of, it's like, how can I put it? It's like appreciation. You want to appreciate what these people went through to raise their child, this girl child. And when they say we want this, it's a tradition, as just as a token, or it's a culture that needs to, that has been there. And it needs to go on. So the thing is that you are not just going to pick each other. In fact, let me give you even the seriousness about that, is that when you marry this child, okay, this girl, you are, how people come in to do the bride price and what have you, is that this person, this relationship is serious. This is a serious business. You are not just going to pick my child and tomorrow you dump that child. No. Are you serious? If you are serious and you're really interested to marry my daughter, here are the conditions which needs to be followed. Of course, I'm not going to charge exorbitant amounts depending where I come from, but that is a token of appreciation of what I have gone through. Not only that, to make you realize as a man to say, this is a serious business. And this serious business is these people, that the people that are watching, they are like witnesses. witnessing to you to say, this is what your intentions are, and this is what you want to do. Therefore, when they ask you for a bride price, they are simply saying, this is a serious matter. This is a serious business. And we are not selling our daughter. We just want, a token. You guys, you are appreciating us to say, indeed, we raised your child well. We did all this. We went through all this. Therefore, we will charge you. You bring something. It's a tradition. That sort of, even if in marriage there are differences that come, right?
That's right.
That you need to sort out. So you are not going to every slight disagreement. You want to take your wife back home where she came from. No, you have to sit down and think to say, when I was going into this was a serious matter. This was a serious issue. Therefore, this can be sorted out.
Okay. However, the point is the bride price is subject to debate, right, or negotiation.
They can negotiate.
They can negotiate. Okay, and then of course it's just a token of showing commitment to this serious relationship you are going into. Okay, you alluded to you already alluded to the issue of wedding preparations, and of course this also differs from culture to culture. Please help us understand the best approach on this matter, because at times this can be a very serious issue. It can bring some misunderstanding, contention. How should a multicultural marriage, how should they enter into this as they prepare for marriage?
Yeah, this is why I said communication is very, very important. You discuss. You let the people know. Where I'm going here is that you cannot throw away your culture and pick the other side's culture. They are coming with their culture. You also have a culture. You cannot throw it away and say, because I'm in America, because I'm in Europe, I'm wherever you are, I can just, throw away my culture. No. The most important thing is that those people should respect your culture and you respect their culture too. But because it's a marriage thing, you need to come together. You need to come to some agreement to some point, even before the wedding takes place. There should be discussion back and forth. You are discussing this, you are agreeing on this. If you give in a certain way, they should also be willing to give in the certain way. So it shouldn't be, it's not a one-way traffic. It's a two-way traffic. Okay? Yes, it's a two-way traffic.
On that same point, Mom, a multicultural marriage. Here is a scenario where one party perceives certain things or acts to be not to be right. This other party perceives them to be okay based on where they're coming from. How do and one that perceives these acts not to be right would not want to give in. The word is to compromise, because like you are saying, communication is very important and you need to meet halfway. You compromise, but then there are certain things, let's say, because of your background and where you're coming from, it is not right. It is not in line with your culture or how you've been. But then your friend in the other culture, it's taken lightly and it's fine. It's part of the norm. How do you bridge that?
That is a very a situation that for us as Christians, those are things that we need to pray about. For instance, even before the boy or girl wants to get married, they will have prayed about it. They will have asked God what sort of partner they want to get involved with. Like I did. I prayed and I said, Lord, I need A, B, C, D in my marriage. Okay? And as you pray, there's nothing too difficult with God. God will soften all things. For instance, you should make up your mind to say, what sort of marriage do I need? What sort of partner do I need? What sort of direction do I want to go? Okay? Even before you think of a marriage. As Christians, we pray about things. Even in that situation, prayer can come in. Even before you discuss, prayer should come in. There are certain things in certain marriages or families that you cannot agree with. For instance, there are certain religion that you cannot go and marry into because of what they practice. Okay? So that is very, very critical. Who do you want to get married to? Do you want to get married to somebody who wants to be a bulldozer? Do you want to get married to somebody who everything you say yes? Everything that comes, you say yes. It is very, very critical who you want to get married to, who you want, because this is a lifetime commitment.
Yes.
So you don't just want to get married. You don't want to say yes because somebody wants to marry you or you want to get married to somebody. No, you must have your own standard. There must be a standard to follow. We are, for instance, we are Christians. Why go and marry somebody from another, another denomination?
Religion.
The two can work together if they agree, unless they agree. So you can't. There are certain things, there are certain marriages that I've seen when somebody wants to propose in that family, the parents would say, no, we don't want you to go in that family because of A, B, C, D. Or this is a commitment, a life commitment thing. Do you want to go this route? If you went this route, this and this and this is going to happen. Are you willing to do that? Therefore, it's up to you. Before you even get serious, what sort of person are you getting involved with? What sort of family are you getting involved with? Because you can inherit things that are not to be inherited in certain families. Like where I come from, they would openly tell you you cannot marry from that home because of ABCD. Number one, maybe there are early deaths, maybe there's witchcraft, maybe there are a lot of miscarriages. Maybe they'll point out the things why they are saying no, you can't go to that. Therefore, it's up to you. When you choose to go against the counselors or your parents, then that you're on your own. So you have to be careful. You have to be very, very careful which direction you want to take. That's why there should be consultation. You should ask, find out something about that family you want to get into. Otherwise you entangle yourself into things that it will be very difficult for you to come out of those things.
Okay. There are some interesting questions here. I wanted us to jump, but let's take some questions from Kay says, can we talk about how cross-cultural or multicultural marriages can happen with two African countries that see things very differently? Cross-cultural or multicultural marriages can happen with two African countries that see things differently.
Yes, it can happen. They can see, like I've been explaining here. Is Kay trying to say, can one marry into a different Africa, like two African countries?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Somebody from, for example, somebody from Nigeria marry somebody from Zambia.
Yes.
Can it happen? Is that what he is asking? The question is,
yes, he's saying two African countries that see things very differently.
They can marry, but it all depends. It all depends. This is why I'm saying you must seek direction, because there are certain things maybe that need to be done in Nigeria. There are certain things that are done in Zambia. Okay, they see everything different because they are different. It's a different culture. It's a different country. It can happen as long as you are willing to drop off certain things, you are willing to listen, you're willing to compromise, like Kasuba said.
Yes.
Yeah, there are certain things that somebody would bring, and then you do not agree, and then the other partner also brings something you do not agree, just like in a home. You need to find a compromise. You need to compromise. You need to let go, and they should be willing to also let go of certain things that you don't agree.
Okay. Compromising each other halfway. They say compromise.
Yes.
I mean, going out of the way to accommodate. So I believe, and basically, when you say you are in love, you should be able to work out things.
Exactly. Just like in marriage. You may not, the husband might not agree to everything, the wife might not agree to everything, but you need to find a way of saying, my partner doesn't like this, let me drop it. The other side also, my partner doesn't like this, let me drop it, so that you come halfway and agree.
All right. Let's look at another question here from Miss Nasilele. She says, should Lobola be refundable?
That's a good one. For what I know from where I come from, the salamo, the asking price, the salamo that we brought in the plate is not refundable.
Okay.
But lobola can be refundable, depending on the issue, depending on the what do you call it, the problem that is there.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be refundable.
What are the circumstances that can lead to lobola being refunded?
Some of them would be like, you get married, right? And then the wife, because the lobola is paid to a woman, right?
Yes, the woman
decides to just go out of the way to go and maybe find another relationship and what have you. So the man comes and says, I can't stay with such a woman. Look what is going on. I don't want to continue with this person. So, and as a family, you know that your daughter has been, involved in these things and what have you, and there's proof.
Yes.
The lobola should be refunded.
Okay. All right. There you go, Miss Nasilele. You heard that, everybody. There's a good comment here from Uncle Gregory. He says, allow me to comment. My observation has been that those from Western cultures are quick to embrace African cultures, like the example you gave about your German in-law, whereas quite a number of those of our African origin have a tendency of compromising and neglecting their tradition, considering them to be inferior, archaic, or backward. That's a comment he's making.
That's a very good comment. It should not happen. You should not neglect your own culture because you want to embrace somebody's culture. Think of it. You want to throw away everything that you've had because you want to embrace somebody's culture? No.
What makes people get into that mindset of thinking their culture is inferior or backward?
Some of them, it's how do I put it? Some of them, it's like I can't even pinpoint to that, but some of them, it's like I don't know whether it's the upbringing. And some of them, it's like they think education, they are educated, they are more than their parents, they are more than all this and so on. So they live in their own way of speak. It's this person thinks those things are inferior and what have you, but what has made you to come to where you are? Those things that you are saying inferior, those people brought you up. They went through thin and thick and what have you to do what you are. And then basically here it's like you want to copy, you prefer to copy than to stay with your own.
Yes.
You want to copy somebody's culture. You want to, I don't know what goes on in their minds, but it's not right. It's not right.
Excellent. Okay. Somebody here, our colleagues, the Masuas are saying great point. It's mainly inferiority complex.
It's inferiority complex, yes.
Yeah. And then K also says media. He also says colonization. We appreciate all the comments everybody's making. Please, especially those of you that are in multicultural, cross-cultural relationships, please send us some comments or questions here.
And most of them, it's inferiority complex. You know, they don't want to be who they are. You know, they don't want to be who they are. They want to copy that culture that we want to copy. When you really dig and know about that culture, there are a lot more things that you are going to find in that situation that you would say, this is wrong. But mainly just inferiority complex.
It's inferiority complex. Okay, let's go to the matter of in-laws and extended family. Because in multicultural or even cross-cultural marriages, extended family and in-laws, those are issues that are handled differently, okay? So how should this issue be handled? Because, for example, in our situation, if I may say that, family members can just show up without an appointment. In other cultures, you can't do that. You have to make an appointment, or you need to call in advance to say you are coming. Is this an appropriate time? But in some cultures, people just show up. You just hear a knock on the door with a suitcase or car or bag in their hands that they have come to visit. How should those things be handled in a cross-cultural marriage?
Okay. In our culture, like you have rightly put it, my mother used to teach us to say, when you are cooking a meal for one person, cook it as if you are cooking for 10 people. Why? It's because some people, you are just finishing cooking, they knock at the door. No appointment, nothing. So they come in and you just say, oh, join us, and you start to eat, okay? And in certain cultures, like multi relationship, things are not like that. And the way we were brought up like those things were taught to us from the early age. We knew that there were no phones, so people would just show up, and you can't chase them. They have come. They are your visitors. There's a saying in my language which says, meaning a visitor, when a visitor comes, that visitor does not come forever. It's just for a few days and they'll go back.
Yes.
So accommodate them, feed them, do whatever they want to do, because they haven't come to say they'll be going. Now, in the multicultural, we have to like I said, this is you need to study and to know. For instance, in America, even as a Zambians, you can't just get up to say, I'm going to Uncle Nathan without calling. You may not find them there. They may be at work, or they may have other company, and so on. So it's important to always, call that person before you go. Why am I saying so? We live in the nation that what I was telling about, to say, wherever you go, do what the Romans do. When you're in Rome, you do what like the Romans do. So wherever you go, you should take time to learn something about that culture.
Yes.
Take time to learn, because if you don't learn about it, you'll be doing things that will be offending a lot of people. Therefore, we need to learn to say, for instance, here in America, even my own daughter will not just show up to the door. They will tell me, Mommy, we are coming, for the simple reason that I may not be there. I may be having company, and so on and so forth. So you learn the culture of where you are and adapt the good things. Of course, drop the bad things, but you need to learn the culture where you are. But don't forsake your own culture. For instance, if somebody came from Zambia, they came to visit me even without telling me, because of the type of culture, the type of background where I've come from, they will just call me maybe by the airport. I'll go and pick them up. But here, where we in the multicultural, we need to respect the culture of don't just show up.
The issues of Kasulova, if you need to say something, just jump in here. When it comes to extended family, mom, the aspect of in-laws also comes in.
Yes.
To the extent of, I think mainly it's got to do with the support.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How do we deal with that in a multicultural
Right.
relationship?
Let me say this. I would say there are 4 major things that lead to most of these broken marriages. Okay. Number 1, finances. Number 2, communication. Number 3, unfulfilled sexual life. Number 4, relatives. Okay. Those 4 things that I've mentioned lead to a lot of problems, marriage breakages in a lot of homes. Therefore, when it comes to the in-laws, the Bible is very clear. A man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we must bear in mind as parents to say these 2 people have become one. Okay. And therefore, if whatever we want to tell those people, I'm not going to tell just my son or my daughter. These people are one. If they want to support me, they need to discuss. Okay? My son can't just take the money and give me because I need to support my mother. I've been supporting my mother all along and so on. You have to agree. The 2 have got to agree.
Yes.
Whatever support it may be. I had a very good husband myself, 1 out of a million. Whatever we did it together.
Yes.
If we are supporting my family or his family, we agreed. And basically for us, we used to support them every month because when we were growing up, we were their bank. Okay? So we used to support them from salt to the biggest thing that they need in their house. So they were on our budget. And our budget and the account, the account was we had a joint account.
Joint account.
Yes. So we did a lot of things together. We every month, and I mean every month, we set my husband was from an accounting background and what have you, taught me a lot of things. So what we did was he sat me down to say, like in a couple, one of you may love to spend. The other one would want to say, no, we can't spend anyhow. So you have to say which one will be in charge of the finances. Okay. So my husband says, me, I give. I find somebody by road begging, I'll take the money and give. Therefore, what he used to do was, he would bring we will put our money together. The first thing that we did from that money was tithe. After tithing, we put aside what we call dilation money, the money that will carry us through the month. Okay? Because there's no system like getting paid twice in a month. It was only once a month. So you put that aside. The next thing was we took money which was going to my in-laws and to my parents. We put it aside. And then we looked at the school fees. We had an account where we were putting school fees. We would put in that account. And then we had like 5 workers. 3 of them were paid by the company. 2 of them were paying. So you make sure those workers are paid. And then we had an account where we are putting money for a rainy day. And then we used to pay our children a salary. The first one will give him 200, the second one 150, the third one 100, the last born, my son, 50 kwacha. Okay, so that was scattered for. Now, we used to also pay ourselves, me and my husband, a pocket money. We also paid ourselves pocket money so that I can use that money as I see fit. He can use that money as he sees fit. For my husband, he would just drive to a mall. Somebody's begging, he gives that money. I don't have the right to ask to say, how did you spend that money? Because that was our so that's how we dealt with finances, and that worked so well for us. The reason why we paid our children was that we wanted them to learn how to tithe. We wanted them to learn how to give offering. We wanted them to use the money as they saw fit. Budgeting, in other words, we're teaching them budgeting. So that was
very important.
That was our principle, and we were not imposing that principle on anybody else. So they've grown up now with their own children. You know what they do? When they give their children money, they are telling them 10% tithe, 20% you save in the bank and spend the rest. And this is like what everybody, like most of the Jews, that's what they do. In fact, they start saving for the child when the mother is just pregnant. By the time that child finishes grade 12, is a millionaire, because they've been saving. And they have taught them how to tithe, they have taught them how to save, they have taught them how to give. So that's very, very, very important. So most of the problems that come in the marriage is that some parents would want to come in to their son or to their daughter.
Yes.
My husband used to say, my relatives, if you want to come and talk to me, go and talk to my wife. Then my relatives will talk to him. You see? Yeah. So like he was like protecting me.
Yes.
Okay, protecting me from that, and I was protecting me too. So that is critical, and that is very, very important. That these parents can ruin your marriage. I am telling you, they can ruin it because of what they say, what they bring in, and what have you. Especially sisters and brothers-in-law. Especially, not even brothers, the sisters, as if they haven't married somebody's brother. You see what I mean? They bring problems in a home, and yet they have also married somebody's sister. You know? So, be careful. Watch out on those things. Guard your marriage, because those 4 things that I've mentioned can spoil your marriage. So
spoil your marriage. Uncle Gregory is asking a very good question here. What is the significance of a joint account in a marriage?
You have become one, right? There is nothing like mine and yours. Everything is ours. Okay? They should be transparent. Where the money is going, what is being done, it's in that joint account. You have agreed on certain big things. There are certain items, big items, that I shouldn't go and buy on my own without consulting my partner. So the joint account is important because it gives you freedom. It gives you peace. You know, no hidden agenda about that money. Because some people, you don't even know where the money goes. As a husband, they are paid, you don't know where the money goes. So if the money goes in the joint account and you are seeing what is going on and you are discussing, money will not be an issue. For instance, money does not control me, I control it. You should control the money. Because when the money starts controlling you, there will be chaos at your home. So a joint account is important so that you can monitor or you can manage things together, because you are one. You are one. Basically, at the end of the day, you are one. So why should I hide something from my partner? Or why should my partner hide something from me? Especially
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Before we get into the final point here, I don't know whether Kasuluba's got something to say. I like Apostle Victoria put something here, and I like the last part of her comment is what I want us to dwell on. I think the issue is negative family involvement that causes trouble in a marriage, because like you have said, Mom, guard your marriage. You see, some of the things that I've said to some people when they have you have a man who is listening to the mother more than he's listening to his wife, or you have a wife who's listening more to her elder sister than they are listening to their husband. People need to learn that when they have become husband and wife, they need to protect that relationship. Isn't that right?
Exactly.
Yeah, excellent. Anything, Mr. Kasuluva? We are winding up here.
Not really, but I really like the what Mom has said and the point that has been raised. The most important thing is upholding culture. A multicultural, from what has been brought out, a multicultural marriage is just like any other, because the driving force at the end of the day is the two of you that want to be together. You really want to be together, and you want to stay together, and you want to see this work. So then you're going to come together and make things work, and be there for each other. You understand each other's culture, you understand this and that. The most important thing is compromise, but positive compromise, like has been said. Yeah, not whereby now you're going to be driven astray and you're going to forget about your culture, forget about your family. You're brought into things like that. Yeah, so well said.
Thank you. Looking at culture, let me give you one example.
Yes.
Lot and his wife lived in Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
Yes.
The wife, because of the rich culture that she came with, brought up two virgins in a terrible environment.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
She taught them, she nurtured them, and they were virgins in a terrible place. You know what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yeah.
It was pathetic. But because of the rich culture where she came from, she brought up those two daughters as virgins. So wherever we are, let us forsake our culture, because each one of us comes from a very rich culture which should be preserved. I'll mention the Italians. The Italians are almost like us. They value their culture. They uphold their culture. So wherever you are, wherever you go, do not forsake your culture. Let not that place where you are overtake your culture. Because one day, those people that have married into a multicultural, there's a lot of traveling. They'll find themselves in Zambia. They'll find themselves and they appreciate. Most of the people here in America, they appreciate our culture. And most of the people who have gone to Zambia, they say, I want to go back. So many people that I've interacted with, because of the rich culture that we have as a nation. Therefore, wherever you come from, please uphold your culture and tell your children here. Like, I'll give you another example. There was a man that was an ambassador in America from Malawi. Okay, his children were born here, most of them. At school, they did what the Americans do and what have you done. When they came home, one time, one of the teachers visited their home. And when those children went to greet that man, they knelt down and greeted that person. So he went back to the head teacher to say, those children are living in an abusive family. They abuse them. This is what I noticed. This is what they do. They are serving you something, they are kneeling down. They are greeting you, they are kneeling down. Okay? So he was summoned. He said, with due respect, Mr. Principal, when my children are here in your schools, they are in America. When my children are in my house, they are in Malawi. Because one day I'll go back to Malawi. And I don't want my children to be a laughing stock. Another friend of mine from Zambia, the son went to Canada for school. In that school, there was something going on where they invited all the Zambians to come and meet. Everybody came, greeted people. One of my friend's son came in and knelt down and started greeting people one by one, moving on his knees, going around. At the end of it, so they said, whose child is this? Oh, it's in so. What happens from there? Their parents were praised. Everybody, they said, this is a well-cultured child, because even if he is in Canada, he has not forgotten about his roots. So wherever you go, let us not forget about our roots in the marriages. If you are married to a Zambian and he kneels to greet you as a husband or whatever, embrace that, because we don't want to lose that. Wherever we go, we are who we are.
That's right.
And we should not forsake our culture. It's a very rich culture that we have. Each one of us, everybody, all over the world, they have got rich cultures. So let us not throw away our culture and embrace somebody's culture.
That's true. Final point, final question. Culture, of course, embodies a lot of things: food, parenting, clothing style, home management. Let's talk about food, Mama. The Zambian man and his Nshima and the carpenter. And
that is very good. You know what? I've learned a lot having all my children married here.
Yes.
Because sometimes they want to prepare Zambian food, then they realize, these children are Americans, right?
Yeah.
What I did in my home was, in my home, my second born daughter did not like Nshima.
Okay.
Not even porridge. So we cooked every kind of foods in my home. There was Italian food, there was American food, there was British food, and what have you. That's what when we went shopping, I would just hold the trolley, because it says, Mommy, in this cart, you're only going to put meal and what have you. But we want to put certain things, so they would buy. And we did that. We cooked every kind of food. And one day, I was trying to force her to eat Nshima. My husband said, Margaret, is there something that you don't eat? I said, yes, I don't eat finkubal. Who has forced you with a whip to say you must eat finkubal? I said, nobody. And then he says, leave her alone. She doesn't like Nshima. Leave her alone. And I had to leave her alone. And she's the best cook, because she could cook all the Western foods and what have you. And that really helped us, in a sense that we received more people from Europe as missionaries than anybody else. So they were very comfortable, except one white man who loved Nshima. So when he comes from Zimbabwe, he would come with a bag of meal. He wants porridge in the morning, he wants Nshima at lunch, and so on and so forth. Now, coming to here, we should realize that you as a Zambian or Ugandan or wherever you came from, you have married an American. You cannot force them to eat your food. Also, cook their food. And then start introducing your food slowly. They will eat what they like. They won't eat what they don't like. With all my in-laws, when I took them to Zambia, they eat anything Zambian. And they miss it, and they love it, and they fit in. But you are going to have certain people that will not eat your food. So don't impose your food on them. Cook a variety. Let them pick what they want.
Okay.
So
it's a matter of, it also comes back to the same principle you made on other things. Understand each other. Don't try to impose things on another person. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you talked about something else. What did you talk about? Dressing.
What did I say? Dressing? I think I mentioned about clothing. Yeah,
yes.
Dressing.
Let me talk about dressing itself. The way you bring up a child. Yes, they are in the multicultural family. A boy is a boy. A girl is a girl, right?
Yes.
If you start braiding the boy's hair and putting a dress on her, what are you saying to that child? When they grow up, they will just be doing those things that you have introduced to them. Yes. Okay? Even dressing. I brought some people that I adopted, my late sister's children here. Quickly, because they were too young, they started copying this and this and this. If I find them, they have cut their hair like Mr. T, I'll just say, Ronald, can you bring the razor? Can you cut this hair properly for this boy? You know? Sometimes they wanted to wear a pants and leave their underwear. I said, not at this house. we are pastors here. And we have to live by example. Whatever we do, we preach to people without opening our mouths. The way we carry ourselves, the way we do things. We preach to so many people, not at this home. When you come out of this home, you go wherever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, but not from here. So we need to nurture. You are not supposed to do this. You teach them. You are a man. You are a woman. Okay? Teach them, even the clothing, teach them from when they are young. When they grow up and they are on their own, it's not a lack of teaching. You have taught them. They have gone
They
their
can
own
do whatever they want.
Well, they can do whatever they want, but you did your part. And because the Bible says, bring up a child in the fear of the Lord. And when they grow up, they will not depart from it. They will remember, this is not the way I was brought up. And they'll follow in line. But there are those children where we say, the parents have done whatever they can do to control those children. But do you see this finger? It's longer than all this, right?
Yeah.
So we call them we know the parents. We know what they can do. We know that they are good people. We know that they can teach, they can groom, they can do all this. But this child, this child is just, chosen his own way. And sometimes, and most of the time, instead of talking too much, pray for that child.
That's right.
Pray for that child. And when we pray for that child, prayer is powerful, especially from a mother. Pray for that child, they will be in line. What else did you ask in that question?
No, I think we'll stop there. I want the people to remain with that. Those of you who would like to get in touch, you need help about anything to do with family, marriage, relationships, you can get in touch with Mom Chapoloko. Find her, wait a minute, find her on Facebook, Margaret Chapoloko. I won't give her phone number here. Just look for her on Facebook, inbox her, and then you can go from there. Yes, Mr. Kasulu, as we end.
Oh, just a quick one. I like a comment that was passed by, should be Madam Janice Kakungo or something, who said as a Black American, so I should believe she's a Black American, meaning she's American, who said, for me, my culture is Jesus Christ. That's for her who's a Christian and in a marriage. I think I like what she is highlighting. Yeah, she says, for me as a Black American, I must stand on the word of God. My culture is Jesus culture. So already, she's stating to say, in as much as there might be this multicultural marriage, differences in cultures, this one coming with this and that, but you're going to have what's going to guide you. If you have what you're going to stand on, which in this case is Jesus culture, you're going to still speak one language. So you're going to have one from Ghana, the other one from Spain, but because they understand to say our common goal is this ground, they will be able to flourish.
Excellent.
That is very true. The Bible is very clear. All the things that I'm talking here, all the things that we are discussing, they are in the Bible. God gave instructions to Adam on what to do. They went through learning. So, what we have been given a responsibility as Christian parents, or every parent, to guide our children, to bring them up in the fear of the Lord. All the things that we teach them, we are pointing to the Bible. The Bible says this about this. So, yes, Jesus is the best. Even in marriage, number one in your marriage is Jesus Christ as a Christian. And then there are principles. Reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, there are a lot of teachings that are there. I was counseled before getting married. I was counseled by a white man from Canada, my pastor. We were counseled for 3 months. We went and got counseled in our traditional way for 3 months as well. Everything that he said was like repeated in my language. Everything that he said, And even in the cultures, there are certain things that we don't do because they are against the word of God. The things that I can't say here on this platform, they are against the word of God. There are certain things that we have taken out, even from our cultures as Christians, that we can't do. Because our ultimate goal is to please God. It's Jesus. So it's important we forgot to mention that, Pastor Nathan, that before you get married, counseling is very, very important.
Yes, it is.
Biblical counseling, traditional counseling. I am a Bemba from Kasama. My husband is a Bemba from Mpolokoso. When it comes to counseling, we differ. We are both Bembas, but there are certain things that we don't do. There are certain things that they do. So it was important for me to learn from my side and to learn from his side as well.
That's true.
So it's very, very, very critical that we can have like Bembas from Chinsadi, Bembas from Kasama, Bembas from Uruingu, Bembas from Ruapula, Bembas from Prokoso. Yes, we are Bembas, but when it comes to counseling, there's something different.
Yeah.
So pick what the Bible says about what you have been taught. And we cannot just, because of this Christ, we cannot just leave our children just growing up like trees. We need to shape them. It's our responsibility. God has given up a responsibility to raise up children who will become somebody in life.
That's right.
Who people will look up to say, oh, I'm going for advice from there and so on. And wisdom is very, very important. Wisdom is very, very important. So don't raise, like I said earlier, don't raise up a child like a tree. Even a tree, if you want it to go a certain way, you prune it.
That's true.
You prune it, you guide it, to grow the way you want to. Even the children, you will be a laughing stock as a parent if you didn't do what you were supposed to have done. But let people say, no, I know those people. They are well cultured, both in Christians and what have you. But that child has just gone haywire on his own or on her own. So let people defend us. If
that's right.
There. Let us do the right thing.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our show today. Our very own mom, Margaret Chapoloko, just walked us through some principles. And like I said at the beginning, one of the reasons I brought her here is that all our 4 children are in multicultural relationships. Next week, we are working on a show remembering Arabi. We might, I'm saying we might, I'm not saying we will. We might have Mr. I call him Uncle VJ. We might have Mr. Venon Mwanga joining us, discussing, all of us know that, Mom, you know this.
Yes.
They grow up together, young men, and all their political career. He's going to share some thoughts with us about their life together with late President Rupia Banda. Thank you, Mom. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate.
All right, Mr. K, we'll catch up during the week as we prepare for next week's show.
Definitely.
Do you want to promote your business on Zambia Broad Talk Radio? Yes, that's right. Live on Zambia Broad Talk Radio. To book your spot, just make a donation by picking from the following categories. To get started, just call or WhatsApp the number on the screen and you'll be good to go. Live on Zambia Broad Talk Radio every Saturday for 1 full month. And it will stay on the recorded shows.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.